Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Natalie Smith Wells YouTube channel. I am so glad that you are joining us today for this episode of 15 for 15. Those of you that have not checked out the previous 5 episodes, go check them out, but only after you have watched this one completely, because I am beyond elated, excited. I can't even think of another E word right now to describe how excited I am about bringing on my next guest. And he's only a guest because we're doing kind of a show, because really this person holds a dear place in my heart because of who he is. But also the cool thing is this was my very first signee as a young coach back in 2003. So this is a 20-year anniversary that you are witnessing today with me and Justin Hobbs. I'm telling you, I'm going to do my best not to cry, not to get too excited because of so many reasons. So let me go ahead and bring on Justin now. We're just going to chat it up. This is going to be very organic because we've never had a problem just talking and catching up. So I'm bringing Justin in with us now. Hey.
Hey, Coach. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Good to see you.
No, good to see you. Good to see you. Like, too good to see you. As you could tell, I was trying to open it up without getting way too excited.
Yeah, I know it. That was a good intro. I got to step
Was
up now with that intro. That was pretty, you kind of gassed me up a little bit. Hey, I need to know your diet though, because you look the same as you did 20 years ago.
No, I don't. And I'm gonna bring that diet thing up a little bit later on a
Yeah.
question that I'm gonna ask you. But look, let's
Okay.
jump in because I need the people to hear about you. So this is where I want to start. I just shared with everybody in the intro that Justin was my first signee, guys, and this was in 2003. I was 23 years old, and I was like, dude, I just landed a beast and nobody knows it. I was so excited. I was so young. But one of
hmm
the things, though, Justin, that stood out to me the most about you, and you were 18 years old, just fresh, just, excited about everything, was as a coach and as a former athlete at the great Tarleton State University. What I loved about you the most was you and I shared the same faith. And a lot of times we don't get that luxury of meeting people in a
hmm
sport or competitive area where the two of you, I mean, really share the same faith. That you were so young and just fresh. So I want to know, like, what's been happening with you? What's happened over the last, say, 5 years? Because I heard you were in this whole track ninja thing. So fill us in, man. What's going on?
Yeah. So a couple years ago, I got into the show American Ninja Warrior. You know, you've seen it, the TV show. It's gone on for gosh, 15 seasons will be this season. But I got into it around 10 or 11. But in 2017, 2018, I started getting into it. And so I was coaching for a while after I graduated, started coaching, followed in your footsteps, and coached for a couple years. And at the tail end of my coaching career in 2019 is when I stepped away. But 2018, 2019, I got to be on the show American Ninja Warrior. And that was a pretty enlightening and fun experience.
Wow, that is, and all of y'all have heard of that. And it's funny to me because I know, and I know you know as well, because we're not too far away from each other in age, but
hmm
we will find ourselves going in one direction and going after something and putting our energy into it. And then all of a sudden, other things begin to shift and happen. So, what
hmm
happened kind of with that experience between like 18 and 19, and what's going on with you now?
Yeah, so I ended up stepping away from coaching in 2019, my last year of American Ninja Warrior. And so 2018, 2019, I got to be on the show, meet a lot of really cool people. I stepped away from coaching in 2019. And then after that, I came to Dallas, and there's a bunch of ninjas, a big ninja community, a lot of gyms to train at. And so I just continued to get to know all of these people in the community. And I continued, even though I didn't make the show, you get casted. So you apply, you make this video, you get casted. They either choose you or they don't. And so I got chosen 18, 19. When I came to Dallas, I did not get chosen, but since I was decent enough, they hired me on to be a tester. And
Wow.
what a tester is someone that whenever they set up the course, they have to test it, make sure all the kinks are out of the course. That way it's ready for when production runs.
Hmm.
everything runs smoothly. They don't want a mistake to happen. So they hire guys like myself, probably about 50, 100 people per season that they hire to do the testing. And so I was fortunate enough to get to do that, which continued to allow me to get to know people in the community, be around it, continue to practice, have a lot of fun that way. But really, what's been so amazing with that is I've been able to get to know a lot of people in the ninja community. It's kind of what it's called, and it's a thing. It's like anything, track and field,
Oh,
or anything else. It's a big community. We all know each other, and it's a very, very supportive community. And so been in that ever since, even though I haven't been on the show, have been able to kind of stay within it, and little side competitions here and there that you go to. And so it's just like anything else. Once you get to know people, you spend more time around them, and fellowship and community that way. And I think that's been probably the biggest thing that's come from it, is just that community, that it's allowed me the opportunity.
you say some key words. You say fellowship and community
Hmm.
and family and all of that. And I'm wondering, like, have you been able to kind of integrate your experience with that, with anything you have going on with your family or even with your faith? Have you been able to integrate
Hmm.
that?
Yeah, there's a lot of believers that are a part of the community, the ninja community, and so I've met some very like-hearted and like-minded people, with faith being, uh, at the center of their life as well. But I think the biggest thing, so kind of my story with the show is, I got on the show and I didn't do very well. You won't be able to YouTube me and find me from production, put me on the TV show. I got like a 1 second clip of me tearing my track pants away to get ready to run the course.
That's a good one.
That's that's my 15 seconds of fame.
Right.
And so it was kind of an incredible journey for me to be on the show, and what I wanted from the show, and I thought what I wanted from the show, and then what God actually had opportunities lined up for me just from the community and being on the show. And so probably the biggest thing that Ninja Warrior brought me was in Waco, my nephew. So he has autism.
Okay.
He's 6 years old now. When he was 3, he joined this league in Waco called No Limitations, and it's an athletic league for all the special needs community in Waco. You start when you're 3 years old, and you do not age out. You can compete as long as you want, and they do football, flag football, they do soccer, they do volleyball, they do baseball. I'm missing something, but it's free for everybody that wants to do it. And so they have to rely on fundraisers and nonprofit and charitable donations, things like that. So um, that just kind of brings me to where I'm involved in this now. Where first couple of years we went to golf tournaments, and we were kind of contributing and being a part of it, trying to give back. And so I met a guy named Jared Greer on the show American Ninja Warrior. He was on season 10 and 11 with me. And Jared Greer, he has a mobile ninja ministry that he takes this huge, amazing, just mobile course. The guy that built it for him designs playgrounds for a living. So you can imagine
Oh, yeah.
it's a pretty spectacular course, as close as you're going to get to the show in a mobile course.
Mhm.
So he did a fundraiser in Arkansas. I went and helped out with that, and it just kind of, God put it on my heart. It's like, man, you've been looking for something to give back to this community. This could be it. And so I approached Jared and asked him. I said, man, this is what I got. This is what I got on my mind. This was like a November. And I said, man, this is what I got on my mind and my heart. Told him about the No Limitations. And he was like, dude, this aligns with
Uh-huh.
our with our mission completely. And he's like, let's do this. And so I got in touch with the board of No Limitations and said, hey, this is the idea that we have. They love the encouraging nature of the show American Ninja Warrior, and they love, it's a fun show. It's just a big adult playground. So they're like, yeah, let's try this out. And so fast forward, long story short, in June we hosted our first ever, and this was 2020. We hosted our first ever or 21, we hosted our first ever fundraiser for the No Limitations Ninja League, and we raised more money that they've raised before. Like, I think we doubled their previous fundraiser, and God bless, he
God
just
bless.
gave it just power. We didn't even know what it was, and so we did our second one this year, and we're doing our third one in 23, and every year it's just extrapolated and grown. And it's like, I didn't realize at the time, in my selfish motives, um, I wanted to be on the show, and it's a lot of fun, and everybody wants to be the big all-star guy shown on TV. But kind of once I kind of got through that, and I realized what God really had in store for my experience on the show was something much greater for my family, my friends, and just gives back to the ninjas that were a part of it. We're just like, this is such an amazing experience. And so that has been the biggest blessing on my life, my family's life, amongst all the things that have come from that and different things that I can't speak on now.
Right.
But hopefully next year at this time, I'll be able to speak on a little bit more. And God is just continuing to bless it as, you ask for things and you might not know what you're asking for, but God knows. And he's like, all right, let's open your hands, open both of them. I'm going to prepare you for it, but you better be ready because it's coming. And you just gotta all gas, no brakes. Let's go.
Oh man, look, you better quit it because you're preaching because the whole time you were just saying that, open both. Like I don't know
Uh-huh.
if you're listening to us right now, but when they watch this,
Uh,
you need to make sure he just said, don't just have one hand open, go ahead and open both because when God begins to
mhm,
pour, as you were just talking to, my mind was even going back to, being on the field with you or being on the track or
mhm.
standing over by the hurdles and oh, I miss those moments, but I can see you standing exactly like I know you're standing right now. Like even when you'd be listening to me, you'd be standing there with your arms folded, or you'd have those legs kind of spread out. I mean, that was just your demeanor.
Uh-huh.
And to see that fire still in you, and you just translated that over into some other areas of your life. So
Yeah.
tell me, because I need people to know this, because I want to know this. When you think back to that time, we're talking 20 years ago. Um,
Mhm.
what was maybe one of your most memorable moments that you had with then Coach Smith?
Yeah. So yeah, I really think we connected because you were so young. You were also so excited about everything, life. I mean, you cared about us so much. And that was one of the things that stuck out to me the most was just like, when someone actually cares about you, cares about the best, and you'll run through a brick wall for them because they believe in me. If they believe in me, shoot, I can do this. And
Mhm.
so, but one moment specifically that stuck out, I think we were at Baylor. We were at Baylor. I don't know if it was freshman or sophomore year, but I just remember I had like a first good race I put together for the season. And I was a 400 hurdler, of course, for the people that don't know, and that's a tough race. When I
Yes.
got done, I'm having a little trouble breathing, but I had a good race. I didn't realize it. I was just running, trying to get through that thing. And
Right.
you were so excited. You were just elated because I just had so much progress from that race that just, I think it was a pretty close to qualifying for nationals. Well, you came up and you form tackled me and just out of excitement,
You
you laid
said
me out on the
hard
grass. And down I go. And I don't remember that. You were apologizing. You're like, I'm so sorry, but I was tired.
right.
You were so excited. And it didn't bother me, but you were so like, I'm so sorry. I hit you so hard. But you were just so excited. But
Yeah.
I didn't think about it because I'm just trying to breathe. But I remember my dad, Boyd,
Yeah. Yeah.
he watches everything. He said, she hit you so hard. She was so excited. And he just went on about that for weeks after that. He's like, Coach Smith, man, she's all about you guys. You could tell she cares about you. And if you know my dad doesn't talk at all. He
Right.
he doesn't
Right.
say anything. So when he speaks, you listen. And that was the one thing that he was just like, he was a huge Coach Smith fan after that because he was just like, you just know that she cares about her athletes. She cares about you. She was more excited than you were. You didn't even realize it. And she came up and let you realize it real quick.
Man, it's crazy how things can jog your memory because you're right. It was at Baylor. I do remember that. And
Yeah.
and that was one thing when you would finish the 400 hurdles. I mean, you would just be walking around trying to like open your diaphragm back up. But
Yeah.
I do remember that. So thank you at the beginning for saying that I look the same because I do not weigh the same. So if I tackled you now, you would more than feel it.
Okay.
Promise you that. But man, I'm so
Yeah.
that we got this time together. I do because you've integrated and like I started off, I feel like, from 20 years ago, that 18-year-old to now, being who you are. I would just want you to share briefly what's different about your walk or how has it evolved as far as your walk with God or your walk with Christ since that 18-year-old that I would see with the
Mhm.
guitar and we'd be in FCA. And if you go check him out on any of his social media, you're gonna find a guitar somewhere because that guitar is still there and I know it. But what has I guess evolved and changed with your walk with Christ over those 20 years?
Sure. So, I mean, faith has always been a part of my life, and I think it was a part of the life when I was that age, and I think it was, in the top three. And so since then, I think 2019, when I coached, decided to step away from coaching in 2019 in the May, the end of the spring, the end of the season, I decided to step away. A big part of that was knowing that I hadn't put faith first in my life. And so I really went on a journey to making a definitive effort to put faith as number one, instead of being something that's important and a part of me, it being the center focus and the most important part of me. And then everything trickling down from there. And I realized that, and I didn't know where to start. But again, praise God, I met some believers in the ninja community that gave me a book called Wild at Heart, and I will suggest that to anybody, male, female. But it's written in the perspective of a guy named John Eldridge about the masculine heart and the Jesus and how he desires relationship with us. And that book completely changed my life, and was like right when I decided to do that, I met this guy that gave this to me a month later. Since then, I've been continuing to learn from there. And it just kind of sparked that, and just that decision and that book, and just meeting a community of believers sparked that, just direction to continue to help encourage me in that. And since then, every year and every week, it still comes with its struggles, but it's different whenever you put faith first and you really feel like you have a working, active, living relationship with Jesus and with God, and understanding the Holy Spirit and how he works in your life. And so with that, I'll tell you, I've been through some of the hardest things in my life, even the past 3 years. But because of my perspective, because of my understanding with that, it's able to bring that back in, to know, like, where this growth comes from, where the faith comes from, why it's so important to let that be the center of your life. Because you just through it, I could go on and on with experiences to where God has used me, and I understand God invites us into the story, right? Invites us into the story to love people. And that's part of the gift of faith. It's like, I have purpose, I have mission now, where I searched so hard for before with a ninja warrior, with coaching. And it's a great aspect to have in your life, but that can't be the aspect of your life. And if that is the aspect, you always come up empty. Your cup is empty, because that's not the life-giving water, right?
Right.
And so just sharing that it's been such a testimony for me. It's like, now I feel like I have purpose, I have mission. I've been invited with God to have purpose, to share in his purpose, which is the most fulfilling thing in this world. I don't have it figured out, but I'm still learning. But that's what gives me, now I know I have purpose. That's what allows me to go on stronger every day. And I know I'm getting a little bit stronger every day. And that purpose is what now gives me fulfillment, where I searched for so long for. I feel like I actually have found it. So in the same time, I still feel like I'm figuring it out. I feel like I at least got the most important thing figured out. So
you sound like a fully persuaded man to me. And that's what it's all about, regardless of everything else. You sound like a fully persuaded man. So Justin, thank you so much. Coach. I am going to be reaching out so I can see what else is going on, because I know other things are about to happen, not just for you, but in you and through you. You have always been a light. I know you're going to continue to be a light, but you've got that fire too. And that's what really takes it to the next level.
Yeah.
So thank you again for giving me and gracing me with your time today.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Pleasure was mine, Coach. Appreciate you. It's great seeing you again.
Great seeing you too. Great seeing you too. Thank you so much. Hey, you guys, man, if that didn't get you fired up, I don't know what can get you fired up. This guy has just always gotten it. He's just always got it. So please share this with somebody. And I was writing down notes, so forgive me, because I had to keep looking down, because I was writing down notes. And I love how he talks about the Father inviting us into the story. Man, if I can just embrace that part right there. And then he mentioned to us about the book Wild at Heart. And it's so crazy, because a friend of mine gave me that book many years ago. And matter of fact, I think it's on my bookshelf and I've never read it. So I'm going to take his note on that and I'm going to read that book. So thank you again for joining us for episode 6 of 15 for 15 with Justin Hobbs. I'm just so blessed that I had the opportunity to have him on today. So you guys be blessed, take care, and we'll see you next time.